Oh, it's on. Pop it.
It's 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know what it means? It's time for the Suede Covington Show. Starring Suede Covington, DJ, not the DJ, and Mr. No Cap.
Welcome once again. It is Wednesday, and you're watching the Suede Covington Show, the best thing on the planet, baby, on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world, man. Hey, why don't you go, if you on Facebook, hit the like button. If you on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? You on Twitch, Twitter, whatever you watching the show on. Come in, man, and check it out. Hey, hit the like button, follow, share, you know what I'm saying, comment, everything. That's what's up, man. You know, hey, so look, I mean, it's always something to talk about going out here, man. So look, I don't know if you guys are hip, but it's a guy that's going around with a magnet, throwing it out into the Detroit River, the Saginaw River, out in Flint, and bringing stuff in. So look, the dude done brought in about 4 or 5 guns, about 20, 30 clips. You know what I'm saying? He even brought in a couple of barrels of shotguns. So if you out here throwing it right over the rail, you might get caught up on something, man. You better throw that boy straight out in the middle, get on the boat or something and ride. But hey, you got to watch it. You know what I'm saying? Things happen and you decide to get rid of something in that water. He throwing his magnet out as far as he can throw. And he dragging it in. Boom, boom, boom. And then boom. Who told him he can do that, though? That's my thing. Like, where he get off the side, he want to throw a magnet out there and bring in artifacts, but he bringing in everything. Tires, bottles, cans. He even caught a car door. So, I mean, I don't know what the guy wants. So, man, somebody gave him a pass to do that. So, he throwing it out over the river. So, you guys got to watch out, man. You know what I'm saying? If y'all did something and threw it in the water right over the rail, he might bring it back up. So you better get the strong arm and just launch that boy and throw it all the way out there. You feel me? Hey, that's the only way. But it's crazy. I'm like, what is this dude doing? He got a whole strong magnet too, and he just pulling it in. Like, dude, really? Like, where are you doing this, man? Like I said, he done found handguns. He done turned them into the police, too. So every gun he find, he turning it into the police. All the clips and the barrels of shotguns, he turning all this into the police. So it's like, wow. So now the thing is, the Detroit police is so busy. Will they take the time out to investigate every gun they find and do a ballistic on it and see if they can get fingerprints off of it? That's the question. But you never know. You know how Detroit is. Sometimes they so preoccupied handling chasing cars and thieves and scammers and everything. Do they have the time to really sit down, clean the gun off as much as they can, and get the fingerprints and check the ballistics and then run through all the cases that they have in order to find a match to this gun or the serial number? So that's the thing you got to look out for. So we got a special guest out here today. I'd like to welcome this young man. This is
Dwight Harris.
Dwight Harris. What's up, D? How you doing? I'm
How you
shorted
doing,
up.
bro?
Just like black folks always want to shorten somebody's name up. Instead of calling him Dwight, I'm going to call him D. What's happening,
What's
man?
up, D?
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I'm Suede Covington. You on the Suede Covington Show. All right?
My man.
So that's what's up, man. We talking about some stuff, different topics out here. Like the dude with the magnet out here draining the side of the Detroit River in Saginaw, and he out in Saginaw and Flint. think he was doing San Francisco, but a lot of his videos is Saginaw and Flint and Detroit. What do you think about that, man?
Well, that's the first time I heard that. But hearing it, it sounds like more with the times of people wanting to do something to bring about some type of social justice or justice. The reason I say that, like, where did the idea come from? What was the purpose of going to the river and pulling it out? What was he trying to pull out with the magnet? And so, because of social media and all the self-initiated media platforms, a lot of things are being discovered or spoke about and more, publicly talked about. Because we see, I believe people have always went outside the norm of doing things. It's just because of the media and the social media, we can see what people do, and people can take pictures of you and send in different places and videos. So it's just this time. It's just the time itself. You see a lot of people who are doing different things. Just after COVID alone, we're dealing with people having characteristics that's unbecoming of who they are. We have a lot of suicide. We got a lot of CSC complaints during COVID. A lot of it's a lot of things that's going on just different that hasn't been occurring before COVID, and after COVID, it's just so many things that we're seeing that's uncommon.
It's uncommon.
And uncharacteristics of the time. But we're in a time warp. So I believe being in this time warp, we're going to see things like going to space every day. That's something different.
That is different, right? 450,000 to get you into space right now.
Yeah. Or $1 million. Boy, that's cheap.
No, 450,000. Yeah, they got some cheap tickets out here. You know what I'm saying? It's like the spirit of space travel, 450,000, but everybody else charging $1 million, $1.2 million, something like that. So yeah, to get you 90 minutes in space.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This Suede Covington, you know what I'm saying? We're not all about laughs all the time. Sometimes we get real in depth, real serious. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad you brought that up, because I don't know have you seen it or not. I don't know if a lot of you seen it or not. But so Fresh Prince has revamped the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, right? But it's not called the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. It's called Bel Air. Have you had a chance to check that out?
I've seen a little of the advertisement on social media. That thought that you shared there, once I go back and investigate it, but if that's true, it's because somebody else probably had the rights to it.
Nope. So, from the story that I'm getting, right, from the information that I'm accumulating on this, that show initially was supposed to be more like a drama almost, not like as funny as they made it, and then hit on certain topics. You know what I'm saying? Because the Fresh Prince did hit on different topics. You know what I'm saying? The one time Will got pulled over driving while black, and went through the whole thing. He got hustled in the pool hall. There was really some serious issues that happened on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air when Will Smith was a part of it. Maybe I think it turned into a comedy like it was because of the time frame, like you said before, like, you know what I mean, with the time warp. I think that if it came out too serious, this target audience wouldn't have grasped onto it like it was, because you had like Martin and a couple other shows out there it was real like comedy. You know what I'm saying? In living color. So for you to bring this real deep show on in that little era, I don't think it would have made it. But now, I think it is going to make it now because of the cultural differences, because of the shift. You know what I'm saying? We out of they pushing all the comedy. Now we got all the, you got 50 Cent put all these shows out here, right? So they're not really comedy. It's more like a drama. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So this Bel Air is more like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And the fact that Will Smith himself is in it. And the ideology, it's like entertainers have, like, their platforms that have ideologies about them. When I look at our entertainers, I look at the ideology behind a lot of them, meaning what they do with their career. Some
Right.
people are just in a career for the career and they disappear. Some people is in it to become something in it and make changes and effectiveness and the ideology and of programming and how they push programming, how Hollywood uses people to get the idea cast out to the people and who they use to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's all design. It's not just by chance, happy chance that people are used to get the message across to us.
Right. And who can relate. I also saw an interview with Denzel, and they were asking him about directing a movie, and the producer of the movie chose him as a black director to produce the movie. He was like, what are your thoughts about that, right? And he was like, well, any other director wouldn't understand the culture, right? So you wouldn't take a Martin Scorsese and have him do Menace to Society, because he wouldn't really understand the culture. You know what I'm saying? He has an idea of what the culture would be and his perspective on how he sees it. But you have a Denzel or a Spike Lee who actually live the culture and have a better a perspective of showing it what it really is. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, yeah, like you said, this ideology behind it is presented that way. So it could be out there. I mean, then you got those people, you brought up people that's in it and in out. They say Hollywood is a different culture, man. You know what I'm saying? You have to be, because if you look at it, you see a lot of people having breakdowns that become successful actors. They have some type of mental breakdown or a family breakdown. It's like real stressful, it seems like, to be successful in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Brad Pitt was married to Angelina Jolie. I still ain't say it right. And they had issues. You know what I'm saying? They both were successful and they had issues. George Clooney the same way. You know what I'm saying? Till he kind of slowed down. He married the civil rights activist, his wife. I mean, they say it's wild, man. You know what I'm saying? Hollywood is wild. It's fast paced. It's party. It's, who you know is, do you want to do this to fit in? Yeah. You got to do this to fit in. And it's starting to slowly come out with the casting call couch, where all the women and men saying that they were abused sexually in order to get these roles. So Hollywood is more like is already set, right? And you either gonna do this to be part of this, or you gonna not do it and you gonna go somewhere else.
Where it was created to be a part of the American fabric, and what made sense in perspective wise when it comes to the culture of America. Hollywood and film was used for that. When we think about the beginning of it, there were people, they were mining to get a message across. People wasn't even talking. Talking wasn't even fashionable.
Oh, the silent pictures, right?
Fashionable
right
until today, because at this time people would have to take more time out to look at the mining, to understand what they're saying, to the music, from that to jazz, from jazz to the vocals and talking all the way up to R&B, hip hop, et cetera, et cetera. I just believe that Hollywood and the entertainment industry is culturalized, and it has a lot to do with people's perspective according to our culture, and who can fall in that alignment to make it make sense to the communities. You know what I'm saying? So they have money to take those people. I just know in doing that, the time is just the work. You don't have time to do nothing else but go to sleep and get up and work.
Right.
And spend money and enjoy it. You don't have time to self-time unless you have some type of discipline. Your management is disciplined.
Your management,
To find time for yourself and to really cultivate yourself in the entertainment industry, because it's so fast.
It is, right, because once you become successful, you want to stay, you want to ride that wave.
Yeah.
You make 2-3 hit movies, it's like, I can't stop, I got to ride this wave, and you keep going. And like you say, to take, I think, the minimum of a month and a half to make a movie, to sometime almost a year to
So
make
you
the
go
movie,
to one
depending on
thing
the
to
location.
another.
Right. Then you take that movie,
One
then you go to
straight,
the
yeah.
next movie. Or you doing television shows, and then now you got to, fly out to finish this part, come back, do your television show, do the voiceover. It does, yeah, it does seem like it becomes stressful and continuous. It's like, well, when do you have time for your family, right? You know what I'm saying?
And you don't, like, you end up creating a family in your work, but you really don't know your family till after your work.
After your work.
So everybody else spend your money and enjoy the things that you buy. as
Right.
you
Yeah, right.
succeed.
Because you too busy working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. You're watching the Suede Covington Show, the best thing on the planet, baby. Live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and other type social media platforms. Like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world, man. So we here with Dwight Harris, you know what I'm saying? Of course, your man Suede Covington. So tell me about Icon 10. What is that?
So Icon 10 is an organization that I created about 2018.
Okay.
And the organization is geared towards helping those who return to society from prison. However, the pervasiveness is it that we end up just working with kids that's caught up in the cycle of incarceration.
Okay.
Trying to break that cycle of incarceration, we realize that children are involved in this, as well as just helping the guys come home that went through the school to prison pipelining. We also have children that we want to stop from going through the pipeline, because that pipeline still is in existence.
Yeah.
And so Icon 10 stands for I Can Overcome Negativity.
I
The
can
10
overcome negativity. Okay.
Yeah. And
That's
the
sweet.
10 is infinite, and it represents the people and all the abilities that we have, unlimited capabilities of changing and overcoming negativity.
Okay.
It's a nonprofit, and we do a lot of engagements and programming that will help people break the cycle of being incarcerated.
Okay. You got something for kids between the peak hours of 4 and 8. Tell me about that.
So that's a program we had, was called Yale, which is Youth Equality Learn and Live Group.
Okay.
We started like 7 years ago when I was working at Children's Aid Society, where we was working with Ceasefire and Detroit Eastern District Initiative. And that program, what we did was stop youth from going to prison from the age of 17 to 26 by way of working with law enforcement and all the other municipalities in the city to make sure that these kids have some type of restorative justice. It was like a restorative justice program. And we stopped a lot of kids from going to prison by going through the court system with them, meeting the judge, talking to the judge as an advocate, and getting them into a program as opposed to going to prison.
That's what's up. What gave you what motivated you to start this?
Yeah.
Like where did that come from? The inspiration.
So before I continue, I want to always give honors. I want to give honors to my mother, my father, who gave me life.
Okay.
I want to give honors to my grandmother. I want to give honors to the footsteps and the way and the faith and the belief that she led me into. And that was Ferry Park at 14, going to church, all the kids in the church, and understanding what my role was in this life was to know myself and to be able to love other people. Something that my grandmother always taught me at Greater Southern Missionary Baptist Church.
Okay, amen, brother.
And all honors to all the elders and all the people that I've met throughout my life. Teachers, everybody. The reason I say that is because a lot of times we forget where we come from when we talk about what we're doing, what our aims, what our goals are, and in terms of making a change or being some type of influencer in the community. I did 25 years in prison. I learned how to do mostly anything that I know that's positive. I learned in prison,
Okay.
studying, taking initiative to study and to advance myself. Um, and in doing that, and coming home after 25 years in prison, I learned that it was a process. I've been home 10 years, and for the last probably 8 years, I've been working, helping people that come home to adjust and to reintegrate. I'm learning that reintegration coming from prison is a very tormenting situation, because coming from prison after 20, 30, 40, 50, or even 50 years or more is so traumatizing that the people that come home does not even know that they have been traumatized.
Right.
A lot of the guys that I work with,
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning throughout these years, 8 years or more of working with guys coming home, that a lot of the men and women that come home from prison do not understand the trauma that affected them while they were incarcerated.
Okay.
I say that to say that prison did contrary to what the judge and what the 12 peers judged the guys to go to prison for. We supposed to go to get help. We didn't go and get help. We didn't get services. We didn't get those things. Even though they provided school and different programming, we didn't get the necessary help that we needed, which was mental health when we went to prison.
Mm.
And it's still a standing rule today in the Michigan Department of Corrections. Says that you reach your RGC recommendations, which you get from day one once you hit the door at prison, lets you know what programming you need after assessment.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those, most of us have mental health issues, counseling, a therapy that we need, but we can't get it. If we got 20 years, we can get it 18 years. If we got 30 years, it takes 28 years to get there. Because there's a standing rule, again, with the MDOC that says you can't get into those programs until 2 years before your out date. And so, in prison, I just learned a lot more about myself.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that there was two different aspects of me as a person. I thought it was just me.
Okay.
At that time, it was just D. I was from the streets. I'm from Zone A. I'm young boy, young the streets, all those things.
Right.
But at one point, I began to realize that I could be another person too.
You could be Dwight.
I could be Dwight, where a lot of times when we come up in the streets, we think it's just one way. There's no gray area. It's just automatic go. Prison taught me that you can't freeze up. There is gray areas, and in having gray areas, you have an opportunity to critically think as opposed to act instinctually.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in understanding that, prison, I've never forgot about it. I would never forget the people that I left in prison. The people that call me all the time, hearing a lot of the good things I do in society, and asking me to help them get out of prison. Grown men crying. And because I walk the yard with them, because I know them and we're close, or some of these people may knew of me or we spoke, we might not have been best friends that are called and asked to get out. And so, it's not something that I wrote or figured out to do. This was something that was always been in my heart, to change the course of a person's life that were headed down the street that I was going down.
Mm-hmm.
The street that landed me in the juvenile system, training school, juvenile, and all the way to prison.
Okay.
We have to change that mindset. And so, the white...
Now you said the mindset. I got to interrupt. We only got like an hour. You know what I'm saying? And you moving. You moving, and you give me some questions that I've always wanted to know. I mean, as I read books and read different information, so why do you think the main reason the streets pull people in? Like, what do you think? I know at one time, right? I've read different articles of a lot of different hustlers from the streets. Some you see, they got documentaries on, and some you don't. But it seemed like a lot of the reason that they got involved in because they felt like the society wouldn't let a black man elevate to a certain level. And they felt like this was the only way that I can elevate to that same level as whoever won't let me in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it don't necessarily have to be white people. You know, a lot of people say with the white people, yeah, okay, there is a certain situation with white people, but you got Jews that hold stuff down. Like they say, Jews control the music industry. And I mean, these are speculations and what people are saying. You know, I haven't done any research to find out exactly, but what do you think the main reason is that? Do you think that's part of it? Saying that, well, you know what, I can't go to school, I'm not going to learn how to read, I'm not going to be able to make it because my family didn't make it. So the only way for me to really get it and live how I want to live is to hustle.
So, coming from me,
Mm-hmm.
I think the contrast of talking about this is who you're talking to.
Okay.
You can have this person that went to college and he's talking from an education and always saying that he experienced it because he grew up over Dexter or one of them streets or the number streets. Okay.
Right, I got you.
That don't mean you understand the issues.
Right.
What about, we've never, in this time, I don't think in no time have we ever had so many people to come home from prison that have done so much time. It's never happened in history at all, where people, we are able to sit and witness men and women that did 20, 30, 40, or even 50 years in prison.
Mm.
So what about that, the white, what is it about people being home? No, we're not glorifying it. We want people to know, hey, do you know I was the one that they sent to prison 20 years ago? A lot of us went and we weren't supposed to go. We was wrongfully convicted.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us went that was wrongfully incarcerated. Shouldn't have been. Should have went to some programming or whatever.
Right.
And a lot of us went because we had mental illnesses, which still mean that we shouldn't have been there and we shouldn't have been punished that way. What you have today is men and women that have lived this life that educated people have been talking about for so many years. We're not realizing that we own the land now. We right here. And we can tell you exactly what we went through. You ain't got to read the book no more.
Right.
You ain't got to figure out how we was treated, what it felt like, or nothing. And we even got Kwame home explaining. And I can say this.
Okay.
From hearing him just speak. He got a good narrative that makes so much sense to people that think they all that. The reason I say that, I think black people, I've been home 10 years.
10 years.
I'm able to experience people on a whole nother level. I was a child that came up in the streets.
Okay.
Zone 8, young boy, numb streets.
Why did you stay in the streets? Like what compelled you to stay
As a
in there
kid,
till you got?
You remember I went to prison when I was 18.
Right.
I started when I was a kid, so I didn't even know myself. I was a kid.
Okay.
Remember the research now say we were all children.
Mm-hmm.
All these guys that did these murders, horrendous murders back in the 80s, they were kids.
Right. They did.
They were
say that.
juveniles.
Right.
The research says that a juvenile can make an adult decision till they're 26 years old. We were judged as adults, and we did adult time as juveniles. Now we all home, and there's a whole bunch more can't get out because that don't make sense to a political party of people. So when you say, okay, so what are we dealing with today? Just to look at this whole thing, from being in the streets, I was convicted, went to prison. I ain't go for what I didn't do. I just went wrongfully.
Okay.
Meaning that they could have found another program for me. I didn't have to do all that time.
Okay.
I realized that because I'm talking to you today.
Right.
I could have been talking to you like this 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to go to prison to talk to you like that. I needed a vehicle, some type of entity, a program that can help me then.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So,
I
what
see
are we
you.
looking at today
Right.
versus me? Gun toter, shooter, all that.
Right.
What's the difference? Our kids don't have conscience today. They don't have no consciousness. They have no awareness. Their heart is devalued. Heart means nothing to them no more. Heart gives you a sense of purpose.
Right.
Like when we was young, if I had heart, I still had a sense of purpose. A child didn't come in my view when it come to my evil antics or my wrong or my unjustly antics.
Okay.
Or my illegal behavior. An older person was never in my view. You see what I'm saying? To do the things that I do. Our kids now has a blank picture when they look at people. Which means that they've been hurt.
Right.
Somebody hurt them.
Right. Emotionally.
All kind of way. Physically.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many pains and suffering that our kids go through that end up in prison doing 20, 30, 40, 50. How you know, Dwight? Because I was there. Nobody can tell you about the times we wake up, we hear guy down the hallway screaming and yelling. Or flipping in his bunk. He can't sleep at night in his bunk. Because he keep turning it and stuff. You see what I'm saying? Making weird noises. Guys was going through a lot of issues before they committed these crimes. I say that to say that our children now are suffering from mental illnesses. Just like the adults. Well, why you say that? Well, if we go to our household, we're trying to figure out why the parents won't guide the children. They don't know how.
They don't.
They don't know how. But
they weren't taught.
As a society, we put it on them, though.
Right.
You're the mother. You let them do this and that.
Right.
They're not educated enough to even understand what you're talking about.
You mean the parents?
The parents.
Right.
The people in the household, quite sure you know a whole bunch of people that fit that description. That if you sit and talk to the mama about something,
or the father,
just like talking to the kids. Now the mothers hold none of the children accountable because they're dependent on the child to do for them, to help them out and to bring money to the household. Kids, right?
Right.
And so now, good question. What are we dealing with today? We dealing with kids getting killed, unsafe guns, gun owners holding guns and not using safety precautions.
Right, putting them up.
Not even beyond that, just using common sense.
We can't say common sense because it's not common no more. Everybody has a whole different perspective of what's supposed to happen.
But it's still common. What's common is common. It's the ignorance. Here it go. If I continue to tell you that it's somebody else's fault for me being ignorant, then we all ignorant. What you talking about, Dwight? I want to get away from the complaining and the babbling about it. Well, what do we do about it, though?
What do we do about it?
It starts with us. We got to hold each other responsible. I'm going to hold the mama responsible. I didn't say put her in jail. I said hold her responsible.
But how can you hold her responsible if she don't know what she's supposed to do? Or he doesn't know as a father what he's truly supposed to do and how to raise a child?
We have to. We find all the other programs to deal with a lot of things. That's number one.
Now look, I got you and I understand you on that. But how do you propose to get around those people feeling, for instance, the parents, right?
Yeah.
The parents, you're telling the parents, like, look, you're making the wrong decisions for these children, right? For instance, if nowadays women out here, they saying, they talking about sex and what they did last night to the guy in front of the children. And they don't think there's anything wrong with it. Or you got the father saying the same thing. Well, I had this woman and I did this and that. The kid is only 3 years old, 4 years old. Yeah. They shouldn't be a part of that conversation, meaning they shouldn't be there listening to that because they don't understand it and they trying to process it. So how do you propose? Because those people that's saying that in front of their children don't think it's wrong at all.
Right.
And when you come to them and say, hey, well, look, this conversations you shouldn't have it. I can have whatever conversation I want in front of my child. Who are you to tell me what type of conversation I should have in front of my child?
Right.
But those conversations are messing your children up.
Yeah.
They lead them down the wrong path.
Yeah.
How do we address that?
So, it's a lot of people say we don't have a right to tell nobody how to raise their child.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to allow no municipalities or program to come in their house and tell them how to run their kids. Okay. So, but when it comes to you being responsible as a parent, it starts with your child first going to school. What I've learned is that we don't even have no programming in the gap for truancy like when I was a kid.
Yeah, the truant officer come out to the house.
Chasing you. Listen, bro, Chaser. I knew him personally.
Right.
He know all us personally. Knew when we hung out and everything.
They knew where the store was.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
We don't have that. But let me tell you what it'll do for us though. It'll get Pookie. Pookie won't pick the gun up as often. Why is that? Because they chased him to school.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have time hanging because the truancy officers would chase. So what about it always come to money? Why would we pay all these people? Because we gonna pay more for the funerals. We gonna pay more for the detectives to be on the scene.
Right.
We gonna pay
Big
more
billing.
for the police cars to come burning rubber, burning all the gas to get there. We gonna pay more for all the men, the judge, everybody.
The lawyers, the public, everybody, all that costs.
All it takes is him to do it. Then everybody getting paid.
Everybody.
We spending money automatically. Burn rubber, the car costs money to all the cars getting there.
That's good. That's deep. That's deep.
Right?
That's real deep.
So on the flip side,
Wow, that's deep. I never really counted the number on that, but that's deep. So this one guy commits one crime, right?
yeah,
So now the 911 caller gets paid.
yeah,
The police officer gets paid.
yeah,
The
Everybody-
maintenance on the car
yeah,
gets done,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Then
Everybody at the scene of the crime gets paid.
everybody, I forgot the EMS.
The EMS.
Everybody at the, wow.
The call, everybody gets paid.
Everybody gets paid.
For hours. And
Right.
remember, it goes on to the next day. You got hours you got to do the case.
Right. Then the detectives got to come in, so it goes from the EMS to the police officer was on scene. So now he's getting paid to do that. Then he get paid to write the report. Then he get passed to the detective. Now the detective comes in and has to spend all this time trying to figure out who this person was, why he
Yeah.
did it. And then it goes from there. And then he passes it to the DA.
Yeah.
The DA take time to look at it to decide if they want to make
He
a
get
case.
paid for that.
And he get paid for that. Then he make a case. Then he got to go to court.
They get
so now
paid.
the judge get
The
paid.
clerk, too.
The clerk, the people at the security at the when you come through the
Everybody.
building, everybody getting paid off this one mistake. You know what I'm saying?
Versus, but guesses, versus this. Half of those people just doing truancy.
Damn. Right.
Give us 25% of those people, take their budget, and let's put them on truancy. What do truancy do? We chase them around the streets during the time they're supposed to be in school. We won't let them be at home at their mama house in the basement. The mamas don't care no more. And so once we do that, we make sure, now they say the best thing to do is for us to be in school because it ain't nowhere for us to be while we truant. If we allow them to be truant, when I was a kid, when we was truants, the adults had to find somewhere for us to be, or we was on this one corner, we was selling dope real fast in the house, running back and forth to get out the way.
Right.
Until school hours was over.
Mhm.
Because if they caught us, if they seen us, they chased us down like we killed something. Because we skipped school to take us home and to make us be a part of the school system.
Right.
A lot of these kids that's killing ain't a part of no school system at all. They ain't been accounted at school at all, right?
Right.
So my thing is, what do we do?
Well, don't the schools get paid for every head that's in the building?
So
So why wouldn't they be a part of promoting this truancy to get those kids in for the
only
count?
on that count day.
It's 2 count days.
That's the day they make sure everybody come. Just show your face today. Yeah, for real. Count day is all about money now.
All about money.
If you here this day, that's supposed to account for you being here all the time. And the numbers it's not real. They falsified numbers. Just think about it. You know your kids, everybody Tell them, make sure the kids there for count day, no matter what. And they counting kids that's not there. Same thing with redistricting. We have a problem with redistricting because people will not be accounted for. They won't sign the census. We fought to get districting when it was a low number of districts throughout the United States. So we start populating from 1 billion all the way up to almost 7 billion people on the earth today. Where we got black people scattering around the earth, running different places where we was populated and had black power, right?
Okay.
So now they went to running because of opportunity and what they thought was best over here in Texas and Atlanta.
Right.
Left Detroit
Right.
sitting like a lame duck. And then they came out and said, we got to switch it because they're not being represented there by the proper number to get the actual delegates in that area.
Right.
You see what
right.
I'm
I
saying?
know what you're saying, yeah.
So
The population.
yeah, they wrote it. They wrote it out and made it the disparity and the prejudice and biases there because they know the number of people that's in the area, but because you didn't vote, you're not counted for it, right?
Right. Right. Hold on, like it's through station ID, man. Yeah. Hey, this is getting real intense, man. This is only on the Suede Covington Show, baby. The best thing on the planet. You're watching the Suede Covington Show live, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and other top social media platforms. Like, man, hit the like button. Hit the follow, man, subscribe, man. Comment, comment, say whatever you got to say. Hey, this is real deep right here, man. We like on a whole nother level. You know, usually we talking about food or we out here, you know what I'm saying, having fun. But, you know, every now and then, you know, we'll get deep on the topics. And this is one of those days right here. You're watching us on WJZZ, the coolest station in the world, man. Thanks for watching. You know what I'm saying? I'm here with Dwight Harris and the Icon 10. You know what I'm saying? Nonprofit organization with the main focus is breaking up the cycle of incarceration. So we talking and discussing about ways on why things move how they move. So if you understand why things move how they move, now you can make a correction to them and try to change the narrative. And so that's what the discussion is right now. So we're talking about truancy in the school system and how the truancy help clean the streets and change the thought process of the children that's nowadays, and why that I know a lot of older people feel like the children don't have respect for anybody or anything. And what we're discussing now is one of the reasons why they're not in school. So there's not the school discipline factor that's involved that comes with the home discipline. You know what I'm saying? And at this day and age, you got to stop relying on the school. The school is not there to raise your child. The school system is there to show your child how to be a better citizen. You know what I'm saying? Not a person, a citizen. It's your job to raise your child to be a better person, a better individual. The school system is showing them how to work collectively in a community and how to be a part of that community because you have everybody in the classroom. At home, you have your individuality. Right?
That's right.
So you were saying, yeah, man, you got so much going on.
And so it's just adding, so our children,
Right.
our violent children today,
Right.
what makes them violent? I've been dealing with my boys for 8 years. I've been home 10. Remember I told
Right,
you
yeah,
that?
10 years, yeah.
About 7 years. During COVID, right before COVID, I wanted a gym. I kept screaming to everybody. Everybody didn't know me. I need a gym, I need a gym, I need a gym. I got these kids. I want a gym, I want a gym,
Right,
I want a gym.
You want a gym, yeah.
Because the 4 to 8 is the peak hours. Children don't have nothing to do. There's so many things they get into that's illegal during those times. One of the things I learned from the 4 to 8 and not getting help from nobody to help give me these gyms at this hour is that they started smoking weed. They started smoking weed. My boys didn't smoke no weed.
Right.
They started smoking weed between 4 to 8.
4 to 8, huh?
If I could have had help, because if they would have been in the gym, they wouldn't be smoking weed. If it was, it'd have been after we left the gym, and I'd been to drop them off at home. They ain't gonna leave home and go there to go back.
Right.
It's giving them something to do.
Right.
It ain't so much of what you say. They don't want to hear nothing we got to say.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna sit here and tell you that the kids want to hear. I don't know no kid that have the span to sit and listen.
Right.
To nobody mention them for no hour.
Right.
They don't want to hear if it don't sound like rap, if you can't make the words bump each other when you talk, mean talk fast, like how bump the words.
I know what you mean.
Not no, brother, take it. Like
not in a lecture format. I got you.
The words have to be electric. I like that.
Yeah.
You have to rhythmize your words for the kids, and they don't have to be so educational, right?
Right.
Well, why you say that, Dwight? The kids love this new wave of music. So, what you talking about now? You need to listen to it. Now, if you don't listen to it, you're not going to understand the kids. My kids rapping now. One day I'll bring them. Here's my thing. What they talking about. Since COVID, before COVID, they was playing around in the alley, rapping and stuff. I don't know what they do. After COVID,
about the same thing. They were doing about the same thing before COVID, but what it did was give them more time for themselves to do it right.
Bam, and then they became something. After COVID, they were all around the country now.
Yeah.
So what I did was I'm saying, so I seen them before COVID.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out what they did during COVID. Now they on tour going around the country. So what do? You got to listen to the music. No ask the kid. Listen to their music.
Oh man.
So I started listening to their music.
Right.
And guess what I hear?
What you hear?
Everything that pains them, that hurts them, and how they're gonna react to the pain. If you listen to this new music, it's talking about how their mama was on drugs, this and that, and it's talking about how they didn't have nothing, no shoes, socks, nothing to wear.
Well, now hold on. That's what it was about initially. It was like that back when we were younger too, though.
But there wasn't that much trauma
behind it. Okay.
There wasn't a lot of hurt and pain. The hurt and pain is so deep now. But when you hear these kids now, all they got is pistols. Soon as the video come on,
yeah.
Hey, but think about it. When the videos come on,
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
They got they got it pointing at you.
Yeah.
Then the next minute they got their mama and the baby, their little brother, and some food they trying to give them that they throwed in the house, and then they jump back in their big car and grab their guns yeah. Then it went back home. And made sure everything, took some shoes.
Right.
And stuff and throwed it in the house.
Right.
Put some bars on the windows at the house and drove off with their homeboy. I'm just saying, I'm just giving you an idea of the way our children think now.
Okay.
They have no respect for adults, no respect for their mama, no respect for their daddy. They got guns that they can't carry. They're so big they pull their pants down. No, for real.
No, I'm man.
These killings,
dude.
16, 17-year-olds got arrested. We're not saying that he did it, right?
Right.
16, 17-year-olds got arrested for killing a lady and a man and the baby. Shoot the baby in the face, execution style. Listen, I ain't talking about the kids that they locked up. I'm talking about all the other kids that's out here that think the same way.
Right.
It ain't a game.
It ain't.
In real life, right now, some kids getting ready, waiting for the night. They don't have no money. The government gave them so much money during COVID, the pandemic. The kids got the money. I try to tell everybody, the kids got paid during COVID. The kids bought Chargers and
Challengers
and the kids
Cartiers,
was the ones
Jordans moving the economy. They was actually moving the economy, spending all the money.
The kids got Jeff Bezos made him the richest man in the world.
Ordered stuff off Amazon.
The kids got their own guns. Ain't nobody go buy them no guns.
They bought their own.
Right? So why did they do that? Because nobody else was watching them. Nobody's paying attention to them. Their mamas, their daddies, not even their uncle, not even the grandma. The grandma used to say, if you don't bring them kids over here, the grandma don't even want to deal with them
but the grandma too young nowadays. You know what I'm saying? She still thinks she got clubbing in her. She still want to party.
So our
But look,
kids.
But look, man, like I told you, man, this is deep, man. You got to come back, man, and we really got to finish this. But let me ask you this one question, man. And I always wonder about this, and I'm pretty sure that when people wonder about it, they need to hear it. From your perspective, being the life that you live, how you lived it, when do you don't go back to the community? Is there ever a point where, as you elevate and see what the problem was and what problems can happen, do you say, you know what, I can't go back? Or do you say, let me change the capacity of what I'm doing so I can go back and help?
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of times people go back and put themselves in messed up situations.
Right. So the work isn't you, it's God's work.
Okay.
So when we look at real leadership is not led by you. It's led by the Creator.
Right.
What you say is not thought about. It's not methodical. It's just a natural thing to speak about the issues and the things we're going through in the community.
Okay.
It's not something that you put together to do. Do you come back to the community? I went to Lansing when I came home. I wanted a whole different start in my life. I didn't want to see the same thing.
Right.
But guess what I realized? There's no difference. The problems are the same. You may have to walk over this stump a little higher than this, but all of them are the same.
All I'm gonna say.
So what do you do when you come home? It's not what you do when you come home. It's what you did before you come. How did you prepare to come home from prison? How did you prepare to come from up under all that stress and come out here and be a productive member of society? Some men come out here still incarcerated.
Mentally.
Still have penitentiary ideologies. Even though they don't commit crimes. They have problems in their household, problems with their relationships. Because they're suffering traumatically from the incarceration.
Okay.
We have to look at the causes of incarceration. The causes of incarceration have acutely hurt our community, especially our men and our women.
Okay.
And today we're dealing with the mental health of men and women that's coming home from prison and making them better in order that they're able to integrate to understand society today.
Okay. Man, I really appreciate you, man. It's a lot, you know what I'm saying? We only got an hour, so look, I need you to come back, man. We can finish this conversation. You know what I'm saying? This is really deep. I mean, it's explaining a lot on why the situation is why it is. You know what? Like I said, I never really thought about who really got paid off this bad decision that this child made. I never realized how, you know what I'm saying, the EMS, the police department, the detective, the DA, everybody that touches, the security guards at the 36th district, you know what I'm saying, the clerks, everybody getting paid off this one person getting incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? And it becomes a number game. But, man, that's deep.
Thing. Before I go,
yeah,
I want to add, it's election season.
Mm-hmm.
The White Global Vision, I'm in support of Sherry Gay Denego
Okay.
for 13th Congressional District.
Right.
Sherry is dedicated. Sherry's been fighting for years. She fight prison reform. She fight for family,
Okay.
children. She worked with the Department of Education, Detroit DPS schools. And so I believe she'd be the best for us, especially with prison reform is on the platform, reforming legislatively. I don't believe nobody legislatively have the narrative that we need as a people in Michigan and in this district, part of this new 13th Congressional District, that can put the narrative and get those things done that we need in prison reform.
And the name is?
Sherry Gay Denego.
Okay. Hey, your man's Suede Covington. I'm hosting Detroit Vibes and Scribes every Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. starting March the 4th. That's March the 4th. It's called Detroit Vibes and Scribes. Your man Suede Covington, the best thing on the planet, baby, will be hosting. It's at the Hannah Center. Brought to you by WJZZ Detroit, Jazz Radio, Michigan Association of Music Artists. That's at the Hannah Center. The address is 4750 Woodward Avenue, Detroit, Michigan. You can get your tickets on Eventbrite. You know what I'm saying? Your main Suede Covington is going to be hosting it. They're going to have bands and jazz. Hey, and if you want to get on the ticket, poetry, or you have a band, you know what I'm saying? Reach out to DMI Medic Society at gmail.com. I'll have it on the Instagram. You can check it out on the Instagram. Poetry with no vulgarity. You know what I'm saying? But if you're interested, participating in it, check it out. Check out the Instagram. I have more information on it. Also, I'll bring it up next week. So, hey, look, my man Dwight is Dwight Harris, Icon 10. Check it out. It's a nonprofit organization dedicated to growing the community. It's your man Suede Covington, man. Thanks for tuning in. I love you, and I'll see you next week at 5 p.m. on Wednesday.
Whoop, whoop.